About my favorite games. Let's talk about my favorite games. Hello, my name is Listphage, and this week we're going to talk about my favorite games. I don't know if you got that from the intro. Also, a little behind the scenes for you. So the first cut of this episode, I had a nice cup of coffee. And it had a nice cool coffee energy. And then the audio turned out awful, and it was unlistenable. My name is Listphage, and So, there is no more coffee energy for this episode. It is now Mountain Dew Game Fuel, which is going to give it a certain vibe. So, I have a strange way of categorizing my favorite games. On one side, I have my sole favorite games. These are games that make me happy. Even though I know they might not be incredibly good, I still play them for hours upon hours upon hours because they make me happy inside. On the other end of the spectrum, we have my intellectual favorite games. These are games that I know are art, but not only art, they're good art. And I can prove that academically. And we're going to talk about one of these games today. I wish I had like a fun third axis, because I plan to talk about 4 games in this series, and I can't think of another axis. So if you think of one, post it in the comments below, and I'll remake the whole video. So let's start out with one of my intellectual favorites, Control, released by Remedy Entertainment in 2019. Also, I got a little bit ahead of myself. There are going to be spoilers in this video. I know I'm recommending games to you, but I also want to talk about them in an academic sense. So, I'm going to put up a little link that'll skip past the spoilers. Are we good? We're good. All right, cool. Control follows Jessie, a rough and tumble gal in a leather jacket and ice in her veins. She comes to the Federal Bureau of Control in search of her long-lost brother, and while finding him, she also finds incredible power. In short, Jessie is a badass with magic powers, and she fights interdimensional alien things. It's pretty cool. This game is simply beautiful. It takes place inside a building called the Oldest House, a monument to brutalist architecture. Brutalism was a style pioneered in the 1950s, and while the buildings do look brutal, the name comes from béton brut, a French combination of words meaning raw concrete. Brutalist buildings were constructed to deal with housing crises and the need for more government buildings. The clean lines and shapes of brutalism only make Jessie's powers seem, well, more powerful. As she bashes her way through the hiss, she leaves craters and scars on the world around her. The hiss, too, leave marks of their passing, strange oil-slick clouds. The foundations of this game are set in folklore, both modern and ancient. Jessie's story is essentially one of King Arthur. She picks up a magical weapon and gains control of her own kingdom. That's not a spoiler. That happens in the first 10 minutes. It is also heavily inspired by the SCP Wiki, an experiment in modern folklore. Hundreds and thousands of people have collaborated on this repository of fictional government documents detailing the exploits of the SCP Foundation, a foundation dedicated to securing, containing, and protecting the world from threats beyond their control. Like a cool lizard who can't die. That's a real one. Honestly, I might make a whole nother video about SCPs, so if you want one, post in the comments below. But this transitions us nicely into what I really want to talk about, which is Diegetic. That's funny. That's a good joke. So, what's that? Let's look at a definition on Wikipedia. Diegesis, from the Greek
Diegesis.
From
Diegeste.
it's all Greek to me. To narrate is a style of fiction storytelling that presents an interior view of a world in which details about the world itself and the experiences of its characters are revealed explicitly through narrative. So let's break this up into 2 terms. Diegetic, which is storytelling elements. Storytelling elements again? Storytelling elements that occur within the world itself. And non-diegetic. Storytelling elements that are not within the world. Like, I can't touch this, but it'd be really cool if I could, wouldn't it? Right? That'd be like, wow, oof. Been great. The SCP Wiki is almost entirely diegetic, as it is a repository of documents from the world itself. 2 servings per container. What makes Control so remarkable is how it plays with diegesis. There are a ton of documents to be found within the game world itself. You pick them up and you read them. These are records from the Foundation itself, and they bear a remarkable resemblance to SCP entries. They build out micro-narratives that build the world of Control from the inside out. There are also these amazing moments when you enter new areas, Blocks of bold, white text cover the screen, telling you exactly where you are. This is non-diegetic because obviously it's not inside the world. Jesse can't see these massive white blocks of text. Non-diegetic text elements like this are incredibly common in television and film. Consider these small clips from Fringe, an excellent show that you should absolutely watch. Control is so highly stylistic, and these texts, both diegetic and non-diegetic, add to its 60s flavor. Almost everything in the game, from the technology to the fashion, give off massive 60s vibes. Spoilers time! It's somewhere, I'll put it somewhere here. Caffeine content, that's a warning. We're here to help. What do I need help with? Oh no, I'm gonna die. Sponsor me! Two of the coolest moments in the game play with diegesis in interesting ways. First, the ashtray maze, an inscrutable labyrinth of hallways only traversable if Jessie listens to music. She gets a tape player from the janitor Ati, and when she puts the headphones on, both the audience and Jessie hear diegetic music, a powerful rock ballad that allows her not only to traverse the ashtray maze, but fully assume her role as the director. Jessie is such a cool protagonist. I could write like an entire other video about Jessie if y'all want. The music is also a banger. You're probably most familiar with diegetic music because of the 2017 film Baby Driver, which used diegetic music incredibly well.
Most groovy. Bell bottoms. Bell bottoms.
Mr. Baby was in fact almost always wearing his signature earbuds. What I didn't realize until I made this video is my two favorite moments in the game happen right after one another. Soon after the ashtray maze comes the ending credits. Well, the first set of ending credits. There's like another one later on, but hang on one sec. It comes after Jessie watches Polaris, her proverbial lady of the lake, die at the hands of the hiss. The screen flashes a bright red, and she begins to chant the same meaningless nonsense that the hiss has been reciting for the entire game. And then the credits begin to roll. We see the names of the developers and all of the actors, and then something very strange happens. The same nonsense that Jessie was just reciting begins to intrude upon this non-diegetic space. Suddenly, entire paragraphs of text are completely erased by a digital white. Diegetic elements begin to push into this non-diegetic space. It's so freaking cool. The real end of the game is kind of cool as well, though. I mean, even though Control only came out this year, it is already one of my favorite games of all time. Not only does it tell this tender, heart-wrenching story about accepting fate and assuming authority, it's also freaking badass, if you'll pardon my French. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for hanging out with me. My name is LTAphage, y'all are the Phage fam, and I'll see you in the next one.